On your results screen, you'll now see the fruits of your labor. Notice the database is highlighting where it found the words that you searched for. There's so much on this results screen, I can't wait to show you. First off, let's just look at the titles of the things that come up. Number one has food access. That is a great term. Maybe we should think about adding that to our idea of food access up here. Number two, food justice and urban agriculture. Those are great ideas that may fit into our second idea. And actually what's interesting is the word food insecurity isn't necessarily coming up. The word food security is. So maybe when we're talking about food insecurity, the actual correct term is food security. So let's fix that. If we do a search for food security instead of insecurity, we had 164 results, now we have 233. So clearly that's the better term to use for this, okay? So make note that if you want to go back and do some more researching, that food security is a better idea than food insecurity, okay? We can look at numbers 1 and numbers 3 to notice community gardens and farmers markets both show up, which is great. That's why we use the word or in our search up here. One or the other. If we searched just for community gardens, we would not have gotten farmers markets. Number 4 looks to be in Chinese. We can filter that out later. Number 6 looks great, but don't get concerned that it's coming from a country other than the United States. Good research is still good research. You may have noticed that a lot of these have PDFs attached or HTML full text attached. Some of them don't. So let's take, for instance, number 21, this one. It doesn't have a PDF or HTML attached, but it does have a Find It button. What's happening is this resource knows this article exists, but doesn't necessarily have access to it. The library provides the Find It button to hopefully get you to this article. It doesn't work 100% of the time because we can't subscribe to all of the journals at once. So if you click on Find It, this comes up and tells you where to get the full text of this article. It's in 2 places. So that's a case of we have this article. We could try this one where it is also Find It button, but unfortunately, we don't have full access. There's no link to full text here. What is there is the Request from Library Interlibrary Loan button. Now what this does is when you click on it, it'll ask you to sign in, and then a form is filled out to request this article. Everything is already filled out, and all you need to do is click Submit Request. We will go out and find who has a copy of this article and email it to you. We talked about narrowing down things after our search. So let's go back and look at this, the way to narrow or refine our results. If you want to read things that have HTML or PDF just right now, you can click on full text, and that will limit to just the full text items. The Find It button will go away, so you may lose some results, but full text will bring up the things you can read right now. If you're required to use peer-reviewed or scholarly sources, there's a button for that. It will limit to just the scholarly sources. If you're required to limit to a date range, you can change your date range. If you need to use newspapers or magazines, there's a way to narrow down by publication type. It's also a way to narrow down by language. There's some of the Chinese articles. And also, if you need to limit to a location, geography will do that. So there was a lot of research in South Africa. If you need to limit to just the United States, you can click on that too. So let's actually take a look at one of these articles, the first one. Well, it certainly looks like a peer-reviewed source. How can we tell? We have published in a journal. We have researchers that are associated with a research institution, usually a college. And we have a bunch of citations. So this looks to me like a peer-reviewed source. Also, a lot of these sources have the same formatting: abstract, introduction, studies, materials and methods, and then usually at the end, there's going to be conclusions. The way this is written can also help you get through the results. We had 233 results previously, not all of them peer-reviewed, but to get through these, they provide an abstract. This is the entire article written and summarized in one paragraph. Super useful. Read this. If it's not interesting to you, skip it. You have more things to work through. And I have a secret for you. If this is interesting to you and you think this may work, read the very last thing, usually conclusions, more findings. Between the abstract and the conclusions, you will definitely know if this article is useful for you. Not only that, the conclusions can point you in a direction that may help for more research. Super interesting tools provided by this database. Over here on the right-hand side, we have a Cite button. This will generate a bibliographic citation for you in the most common formats. We have APA, Chicago, MLA. Copy and paste this into your bibliography. Please just check your writer's manual to make sure everything is in the right spot. There's also an email button. Super useful. Put in your email address, pick your citation format, and you'll get an email back to this page with a PDF attached, if there is a PDF, and a citation that you can copy and paste into your paper. Please know one thing, super important. This URL at the top will not get you back to this article. Please don't copy and paste this and try to get back. Just use the email button, please. This URL will only work for about 5 minutes and then go away. It's very sad if you can't get back to this article.